Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, I'm proud to present an up-close and personal in-depth look with the all-new 2016 Mercedes-AMG C63 S. The C63 is the second AMG product to feature their all-new 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8. Of course, the first was the GTS, and we've had a ton of experience with that car so far. I've been dying to get behind the wheel of this, but with a lack of press vehicles and stuff in the area, I was not sure when my chance would be, so I figured, you know what, the heck with it, I'll just rent one for an entire week and treat it like a press vehicle. So as always, this will be an in-depth review of the C63. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, go over the performance data, take it on a thorough road test, and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, let her run. A smart key entry system comes standard on the C-Class, so all you have to do is keep the key fob in your pocket and utilize the touch sensors on the door handles to lock and unlock the vehicle. Our tester is finished in gloss black, paired nicely to a black premium Nappa leather interior with light gray Dynamica accents specific to the C63 S. To start, all you have to do is just make sure you have the key fob within the interior, then simply put your foot on the brake and hit the dash mounted button to go. The C63 features variable effort rack and pinion steering with electric power assistance. It's routed through a meaty flat-bottom 3-spoke multifunction steering wheel. Typically wrapped in Nappa leather with perforations across the sides, our tester features the optional performance wheel that swaps the perforations for Dynamica faux suede. The detailing is excellent with satin aluminum trim, grit bolsters, accent cross-stitching, and a 12 o'clock band at the top. The AMG boasts a quicker steering ratio than a standard C-Class, leading to faster response and greater agility when combined with the AMG-specific front suspension and tuning. Also, the AMG's 14:1 ratio isn't variable like the standard car, leading to a more linear and predictable behavior. The steering takes about 2.5 turns to lock, along with a 36.8-foot turning diameter. With the C63 S, you also receive dynamic engine mounts like what's available on the GTS. They're able to soften or stiffen as the car sees fit with near instantaneous response. By reducing powertrain vibrations, they're able to maintain a comfortable ride that's still tight enough to carve through a corner with excellent body control. In other words, they lead to more direct and precise steering behavior by minimizing the movement of the drivetrain and the need for corrections on turn-in. As we'll discuss in just a bit, through the C63's drive modes, you're also able to adjust the steering effort to firm or relax the feel as desired. The AMG Dynamic Select controller on the C63 S includes 4 main modes: Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and Race, in addition to a user-programmed individual mode. With each advanced setting, the car adapts the steering, throttle response, exhaust, suspension, and traction control to vastly alter the car's behavior. Each mode has a surprisingly distinct feel, allowing you to go from daily driver to full-on track ready with just a push of a button. The 3-mode electronically adaptive suspension helps maintain precision and agility through the corners when switched to Sport or Sport Plus, while yielding more compliant behavior in Comfort mode. As expected, Comfort is the least aggressive setting for daily use and improved fuel economy. The Auto Start-Stop feature automatically activates while in Comfort. Sport and Sport Plus are pre-programmed to alter the aforementioned parameters, such as decreasing shift times, raising shift points, and allowing for rev matching downshifts. You'll even notice engine speed pick up a bit in Sport Plus and Race. Selecting Race mode puts everything into their most aggressive settings, such as adapting the transmission and engine for track use. There are 3 settings for the stability control, including On, ESP Sport Handling, which activates in race mode, and ESP Off. Of course, all these settings can be individually customized regardless of which mode that you're in. For example, if you want to be in Sport Plus but don't want the ride to be stiff, you can manually select it to comfort via the button in the center console. For true customization as an individual setting, this allows the driver to custom tailor all of the various adaptive features to create a stored set of parameters that truly matches their driving style. Delivering power exclusively to the rear wheels is AMG's Speed Shift 7-speed multi-clutch transmission, or MCT. It's routed through an electronic column-mounted shifter. To engage, press the brake and pull it all the way down for drive. Half a click up is neutral, while all the way up puts the car in reverse. A backup camera with adaptive guidance lines is optional. To place in park, press the little button at the edge of the stalk. Although similar to the previous C63, the hardware and software have been revised for the new model to deliver faster and more responsive shifts. You can almost think of it as blending the characteristics of a traditional torque converter automatic and a dual-clutch transmission. The performance is far greater than the C-Class's standard 7-speed 7G Tronic transmission, while still maintaining an appreciable degree of smoothness, but it's not quite as sharp as the 7-speed dual-clutch transaxle used in the GTS. Regardless, the MCT felt excellent. By placing the transmission into Sport mode, shift points are raised and the shift times are reduced by 30%. Sport Plus and manual modes offer 100 millisecond upshifts and rev match downshifts. You're able to control the transmission manually by a set of aluminum paddle shifters mounted to the back of the steering wheel. Now let's go and flip on the fully automatic LED headlamps, rear fog lamp, as well as the hazards. Of course, all 4 windows are fully automatic. The front 2 feature acoustic laminated glass. So let's go and check out the exterior, shall we? Upon closing the door, the interior will start to chime to let you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob. With the automotive industry becoming even more competitive as time goes on, automakers are constantly seeking new ways to raise the bar even higher with advancements in design, technology, engineering, and above all, efficiency. The all-new C-Class, first introduced for the 2015 model year, is a prime example of a well-executed redesign that takes full advantage of the best Mercedes-Benz currently has to offer. The C-Class has without a doubt been elevated to an entirely new level of sophistication that takes some inspiration from the S-Class to create a far more refined and luxurious product. The C63, which starts out at $65,250 or $73,250 for the C63 S, primarily competes against the BMW M3 and the Cadillac ATS-V sedan. Our tester, as equipped, would likely stick her for around $80,000, give or take a bit. Of course, with BMW's Inline 6 and Cadillac's V6, each car has their own personality, so it's certainly worth comparing to see which one suits you best. Generally, performance is pretty similar between the three. The Mercedes is the only offering in the segment that still uses a V8. With an all-new twin-turbocharged engine, it also consumes 32% less fuel than its predecessor, making it one of the most fuel-efficient V8 performance cars available today. By having a V8 and that signature AMG sound, it delivers a more visceral, almost muscle car-like experience in my opinion, putting it in a pretty unique position in the lineup. Underneath the seductive bodywork is a new hybrid aluminum body shell that's said to weigh about 154 pounds less than a comparable steel structure. Together with high-strength and ultra-high-strength heat-treated steel and various forms of aluminum reinforcements, the body boasts greater rigidity along with greater occupant protection. The majority of the body panels, including the hood, fenders, doors, trunk lid, and roof panel, are also made from aluminum. The wheelbase has been stretched by 3 inches, accompanied by an increase in overall length and width by 3.7 and 1.6 inches respectively. The extra room is said to primarily benefit rear seat passengers, making the car more accommodating for taller individuals. Despite being a bigger car than before, Mercedes also claims the general curb weight has been reduced by around 200 pounds or so. Of course, the C63 brings that added dose of aggression we've come to expect from an AMG product. Strictly speaking, from a styling standpoint, the changes not only enhance visual excitement, but at least for the most part they provide functional benefits when it comes to component cooling and aerodynamics. For starters, the C63 is about an inch or 25mm lower than a standard C-Class. There's unique front and rear fascias with more pronounced side skirts and signature quad-polished exhaust tips. LED headlamps and fiber optic LED tail lamps come standard, while adaptive full LED headlamps are optional. The front end specifically is 2.12 inches longer, accentuating the flowing AMG hood with its twin power bulges. Signature AMG traits up front include the twin-blade radiator grille, the A-wing fascia treatment, and an aggressive lower air dam. The latter, in conjunction with a pair of air flicks to either side, work to guide air into the C63's three large air intakes across the lower fascia. As we'll discuss in just a bit, the front fenders are also wider on either side by 0.55 inches to accommodate the car's wider track and unique AMG front suspension. In the back, a subtle spoiler is perched on top of the trunk lid, while the lower fascia sports air outlets to either side and a center diffuser. Simply put, AMGs are incredible machines. The sound, feel, performance, and looks are all more than enough to excite any car enthusiast. The C63 S comes standard with staggered 19-inch twin 5-spoke wheels that are 8.5 inches wide in front and 9 inches wide in the rear. They're wrapped in 245/35 and 265/35 high-performance tires respectively. Lighter weight forged aluminum wheels are also available in polished or matte black finishes. The sticky tires provide an immense amount of grip in the corners and are capable of holding close to 1 G of lateral acceleration. A 3-mode electronic stability control system allows for some added fun and varying degrees of wheel slip in conjunction with the limited slip differential. The C63 has a mechanical diff, while the C63S has an electronic diff for quick and responsive torque transfer. You're even able to turn stability control off, giving you full control and allowing for epic power slides. Like the GTS, the C63 is available with 3 different braking systems. On the entry model, 14.2-inch disc brakes can be found at each corner. Stepping up to the C63S introduces larger 15.4-inch front rotors to cope with the increased performance demands. The discs are internally ventilated and cross-drilled. Both setups carry 6 piston calipers in front and 4 piston calipers in the rear. On the S model, they're painted red. I'd estimate stopping distances from 60 miles an hour to average around 105 feet or less. If you're looking to track your car, you might also want to consider the optional 2-piece 15.8-inch carbon ceramic front brakes. They provide superior fade resistance and greater stopping force, a longer service life, and a reduction in unsprung weight, which should lead to livelier handling. Underpinning the C63 are front and rear independent multi-link suspensions that incorporate a significant amount of aluminum components for reduced weight, as well as AMG-specific components and mounting hardware to increase rigidity. The 3-mode adaptive dampers firm or relax the suspension for reduced body roll and greater comfort when desired. Up front, the 4-link suspension geometry and axle is unique to the AMG, featuring a 1.2-inch wider track compared to the standard C-Class. The 5-link design out back is shared with the non-AMG cars, but still gains some added tuning. Greater negative wheel camber at all 4 corners increases grip and stability through the corners. Overall length is 187.2 inches, with a width excluding the mirrors of 72.4 inches and a height of 56.1 inches. It rides on a 111.8-inch wheelbase and has a curb weight of around 3,935 pounds. 54% of that weight rides over the front. Under the hood of the C63 is AMG's all-new twin-turbocharged 4-liter V8. Closely related to the engine found in the GTS, this variant features its own internal designation of M177. The biggest difference here is that the C63 does not have the M178's dry sump lubrication system, amongst other more subtle variations here and there. It is, however, still designed and built in-house by AMG and carries a similar level of innovative and advanced design techniques for impressive performance, responsiveness, and efficiency compared to its predecessor's naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8. Like any AMG engine, it's assembled by a single technician from start to finish. A special plaque with their signature is affixed to the engine cover. It's a fully modern power plant with dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, an advanced direct injection system, forged aluminum pistons, and zirconium alloy cylinder heads for better temperature control. The cast aluminum block's closed deck design and sand cast aluminum crankcase increases durability. With all these advanced lightweight materials, the V8 has a dry weight of around 460 pounds. The compression ratio is rated at 10.5 to 1, accompanied by a maximum engine speed of 7,000 RPM. The cylinder bore surfaces are also coated by a thin layer of porous iron, a process Mercedes calls nanoslide. The material is twice as hard as conventional cast iron liners but weighs less and reduces friction. Providing up to 17.4 psi of boost, the C63 S develops 503 horsepower between 5,500 and 6,250 RPM, and 516 pound-feet of torque, which is actually more than the GTS, between 1,750 and 4,500 RPM. That translates to a 0 to 60 rating of just 3.9 seconds at a top speed limited to 180 miles per hour. In comparison, the entry-level C63 develops 469 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, good for a 4-second 0 to 60 time at a top speed of 155 miles per hour. Rather than mounting the turbos along the outer edges of the cylinder banks where the exhaust manifolds would typically reside, they're placed within the V in between the cylinder banks, leading to a layout that's opposite to conventional design. The intake and exhaust manifolds effectively trade places, which leads to a more compact engine design as well as improved thermal management as the exhaust gases are no longer routed across the sides. This also allows the engine to sit further back towards the firewall for better weight distribution. In this configuration, the exhaust gases have a much shorter distance to travel before hitting the turbos, eliminating any sort of notable turbo lag. The linearity of acceleration and how quickly the engine responds is so impressive that a flat torque curve doesn't hurt either. When you hit the throttle, the engine roars to life thanks to AMG's stellar multi-mode exhaust system and immediately launches forward with authority. Like the GTS, the C63 S also has a sophisticated cooling system composed of a network of ducts and air channels. A heat shield sits above the turbos while an auxiliary cooling fan behind the radiator cools the turbos off when the car is stopped and powered down. As far as fuel economy, the C63 carries a 17.4 gallon tank and requires premium fuel. EPA ratings range between 18 miles to a gallon in the city and 25 on the highway, averaging around 20 miles to a gallon. The interior of the new C-Class is absolutely beautiful, combining all of the latest technology, comfort, and convenience you'd expect out of a modern Mercedes-Benz. The craftsmanship, attention to detail, and quality of materials is class-leading in many respects, designed to encompass you with a near S-Class luxury in a more compact and sporty package. From the stainless steel Burmester speaker grills to the brushed aluminum trim and satin brightwork, everything looks properly upscale and feels wonderful. The AMG takes things one step further by adding a number of dynamic and race-inspired touches. You also have a choice between a handful of finishers from traditional and open-pore wood to woven silver fiberglass and our tester's glossy carbon fiber. As we've experienced in other recent Mercedes products, the technology and ergonomics are first-rate. There's a lot of personalization options and advanced features throughout, but it's all so intuitive that you'll be familiar with it in no time. It's a driver-focused cockpit that places all of the vital controls within easy reach. Sporty yet very comfortable deep-contoured 14-way power front seats with 3-stage heating come standard in the C63 S, along with full Nappa leather upholstery on the seats, door panels, and dashboard. The headrests and seatbelts are adjusting, while the latter has an automatic pre-tensioner feature. For the most part, all of the power seat controls are located on the door panels, including a power thigh extension for the driver and passenger. Located on the seats themselves are 4-way adjustable lumbar. A power tilting telescoping steering wheel comes standard. The combination of MB Tech synthetic leather and Dynamica upholstery covers the seats and many of the touch points in the standard C63. For that race-inspired feel, you can also opt for the same aggressive performance seats that come in the GTS. A variety of two-tone color themes are also available, in addition to the option of red seatbelts. The glove box is locking, and while you do have to reach over the top a little bit to get inside, it's a pretty decent amount of space. It's all lined in soft-touch material and has some illumination. Of course, the C-Class is available with all of the latest safety tech, including blind spot monitoring, the rear cross traffic alert, lane keep and assist, pedestrian detection, and so much more. Most of it's wrapped up into the optional driver assistance package. An all-black headliner comes standard on the AMG product, and you also have the option of a full panoramic glass roof. A heads-up display is available, and so much more. Be sure to check out Mercedes-Benz's website for all of the list of things you can get on the car. So now let's go ahead and see how she sounds, both sitting still and on the road.
Now let's go and shut her up and check out the interior features.
In the center of the dash is a freestanding LCD display that features the latest version of Mercedes' Command infotainment system. A 7-inch screen comes standard, while this 8.4-inch screen is part of the optional multimedia package, which includes a hard drive navigation system, voice control, and more. It's routed through the rotary dial and touchpad controller in the center console. Also standard on the C63 is an incredible 590-watt Burmester premium surround sound system with 13 speakers and a 9-channel digital amplifier denoted by the highly detailed stainless steel speaker grills. For the most part, all of the features including audio, sat-nav, telephone, and your various drive modes can be controlled from this screen. It's an excellent setup that we've covered in prior videos in greater depth with high-res graphics and a ton of features built in that are both intuitive and easy to use. This has quickly become one of my favorite infotainment systems out there, not just because it's easy to use, but how interactive and cool it is. I mean, it's almost fun to use, especially within the vehicle settings. You have this interactive car that moves around and focuses on the particular area that you're working with. I mean, it's very neat and unlike anything else I've ever seen in the premium segment. You could seriously dedicate an entire video just to demonstrating this system, and it's definitely something I've considered doing. Hopefully next time we get a press vehicle, we'll have a little bit of extra time that I can show you guys all the nitty-gritty features. But if you want to see the system a little bit more in depth in general, check out some of the links in the top right hand corner of this video. All of the pillars are wrapped in soft cloth, your side curtain airbags, there's grip handles up top, and padded visors. The visors also feature LED illuminated vanity mirrors with a card holder to the right. The rearview mirror is auto-dimming with 3-position garage home link located underneath, while on the top stack you have your interior illumination, reading lamps, ambient lighting, a padded sunglass container, hands-free Bluetooth microphones, as well as your emergency roadside assistance and information concierge services. Continuing down the center stack, right beneath the 3 center-mounted air vents are the controls for your standard dual-zone electronic automatic climate control system. All of the little aluminum buttons have a knurled finish, a nice textile feel, your temperature to either side, different zones, fan speed, one-touch automatic, front and rear defrost, and syncing both sides. If you hit the menu button right here, it also brings up your climate control settings within the infotainment system, so it makes things a little bit more interactive. And right beneath that is an in-dash single-disc CD player, an elegant analog clock, as well as some rudimentary controls for the infotainment system, navigation, radio, media, telephone, vehicle settings, as well as your hazards off to the far right. At the very bottom, open up this little cover and you have 2 adjustable cup holders. There's a lighter, 12-volt power outlet, and an ashtray off to the left. Coming down across the center console, you have the remote touch controller and infotainment system rotary dial like we talked about earlier, your different drive modes, traction settings, auto start stop feature, and more. At the very back, you have a padded leather armrest here. Hit this button and it opens up, split to a large center console. It's also lined in felt, houses an SD card slot and 2 USB ports. As far as the steering wheel, on the right hand side you have your audio controls, hands-free telephone, and voice commands. Help.
For which functions do you want help?
On the left hand side, for the most part, you have the controls that correspond to the driver information system that shows up in that digital display in the middle of the instrument cluster. If you hit the little home icon, it brings you to the main menu where you can go between your trip computer, navigation, radio, media, telephone, assistance, graphics, service, vehicle settings, as well as an AMG screen. The AMG screen is quite cool. Bring it up, it has a digital speed readout, what gear you're in, how much boost pressure you're making, oil temperature, and gearbox temperature. G-forces, all the different drive modes that you're currently in, as well as a lap timer. Of course, like with the infotainment system, if you want to see these features a little bit more in depth, be sure to check out the links in the top right hand corner of the video. Of course, the stalks behind the steering wheel. To the right, like we talked about earlier, is your gear selector. To the left-hand side is your automatic rain-sensing wipers, high beams, and turn signals.
In the very bottom, you have your cruise control, and this adjusts the tilting, telescoping setting of the steering wheel. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and shut her down. We'll hop out, check out backseat space and amenities. For being a smaller sedan, the C-Class actually has a pretty impressive amount of rear seat space. I'm 5'10" with a comfortable seating position for myself in front. I have about 4 to 4.5 inches of leg space and about 2.5 to 3 inches of headspace depending on where you're leaning. The headliner actually cuts up right here a little bit to give you a bit more wiggle room, so even if you're around the 6-foot mark, you should be more than comfortable back here regardless. Even though it's not as much room as you would get in an E-Class, it's still very accommodating. Of course, you can seat up to 5 people in the C-Class. In the middle, which sits up a little bit higher, you might lose maybe, I don't know, half an inch or so of headspace, but it's still, again, very accommodating. I think you could sit 3 people my size back here, depending on the size of those other individuals. You might fight for shoulder space, but leg space is more than abundant for all 3 people. There's a pretty big drivetrain hump right here, so it takes a little bit of effort to climb over there. So probably smaller people would be more comfortable in the middle, and probably best leave for temporary use, but it's definitely there and usable if you need it. As far as comfort, it's first rate, as if you expected anything else. I mean, just like the front seats, the back seats have a great combination of soft and firmness with good overall body support. Excellent lower back support, good lateral support across the side here, and in the middle you have a full padded leather armrest that actually incorporates a bunch of storage inside there, lined in felt, and 2 pop-out cup holders. I just can't get over how beautiful this car is. Across the door panels, you also have some pretty good storage. There's water bottle holders in the middle here, or across the seat backs, you also have some storage pockets. In the bottom portion of the console, you have another little tray that would be like an ashtray type size, but you have a 12-volt power outlet back here. Other amenities, you have 3 adjustable headrests, there's child seat anchors back here, of course side curtain airbags all the way around, illumination and reading lamps to either side, grip handles, coat hooks, as well as 2 adjustable air vents down below. For the most part, I mean, the C-Class is a very simple vehicle back here. There's not a whole lot of gizmos and gadgets that you would get in like some higher-end Mercedes products, but I mean, the environment, I mean, the craftsmanship, the attention to detail, the comfort, the quality of materials, the overall interior space, I mean, it's just an excellent choice if you're looking for a smaller sedan. So that's pretty much it for back here. Let's go ahead and hop out and check out trunk space.
Open up the easy access trunk and you'll find about 12.6 cubic feet of cargo space, which is just enough for 2 medium-sized suitcases and a few smaller bags. A power operating trunk is available if I remember correctly. In addition to storage nets to either side, you can also fold down the 60-40 split rear seat to load longer items all the way to the front.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2016 Mercedes-AMG C63 S. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.